The car pulling up isn't yours. You're standing outside the coffee shop, phone in your hand, rehearsing what you're going to say when she arrives. You checked your bank account twice this morning. $847. Rent's due in 6 days. She steps out of an Uber wearing sunglasses that cost more than your phone. You smile. She smiles back. Neither of you knows what the other has. Not yet. Level 1. Broke and invisible. You're dating on a budget that doesn't exist. The restaurant you picked isn't bad. It's just careful. You scanned the menu online last night, did the math 3 times, set a ceiling at $75 including tip. She orders a salad and wine. You get pasta, safe, affordable, forgettable. She talks about her job in marketing. You talk about yours in sales. You don't mention that sales means cold calling dental offices for software nobody needs. You don't tell her your car's check engine light has been on for 4 months. When the bill comes, you pay. It's $68. You leave $80. Your checking account now reads $767. She thanks you, kisses you on the cheek, suggests you do this again. You agree, even though you're already doing math on next week's shifts. At this level, you're performing sustainability. Every date is a small financial wound. You take her to happy hours, Sunday matinees, free museum days. You get good at spinning low-key as a vibe instead of a necessity. 3 months in, she still doesn't know you split a $1,200 apartment with 2 roommates. You think that's strategy? It's just survival. Level 2. Comfortable enough to relax. The promotion changes things. Not everything, but enough. You're making $62K now, maybe $68K with commission. The apartment's still shared, but your room's bigger. You buy her dinner without calculating tip percentages in your head. You pick her up in your car, newer, leased, monthly payments you can almost afford. She starts staying over on weekends. You take her to a concert, not nosebleeds, real seats, $150 each. You buy drinks at the venue without flinching. She posts a photo of the 2 of you. You're smiling. She's smiling. You feel like you're winning. This is the level where dating becomes easier. You're not rich, but you're not drowning. You can do brunch. You can split a weekend trip to the coast. You can buy flowers without checking your account first. She tells her friends you're doing well. You don't correct her. You're dating like a normal person now. Steady income, consistent dates, no panic. She talks about moving in together someday. You nod. You even start to believe it, but you're still performing, just at a higher budget. Level 3. Signaling success. You're making $115K. The difference isn't subtle. You move into a 1-bedroom alone. West side, parking spot, gym in the building. She has a drawer, then a closet, then half the bathroom counter. You take her to places with tasting menus. Not Michelin star, but close. You learn words like omakase and natural wine. You dress better. She notices. Her friends notice. She introduces you as her boyfriend who works in tech. You work in SaaS sales. But the title sounds better the way she says it. At this level, dating becomes part of your identity. You're the guy who plans good trips, books the right hotels, knows the bartender at that spot downtown. She starts showing you off. You start enjoying it. You buy her a necklace for her birthday. $900. She cries a little. You tell yourself it's because she loves you, but part of you knows it's also because it's expensive. You're not just dating anymore. You're curating a lifestyle. And she's part of the aesthetic. Level 4. Competing in public. You're clearing $200K, Jess. She knows it now. Everyone does. You drive a Tesla. Not new, used 2021, but it's still a Tesla. She posts it on Instagram. Doesn't tag you, but the implication is there. The comments roll in, friends, coworkers, ex-boyfriends who suddenly like her photos again. You take her to Napa, Scottsdale, Miami. You stay places with turn-down service and complimentary champagne. You eat at restaurants where the waiters know your name because you've been there twice. She talks about rings, not directly, but she likes posts. Sends you screenshots of engagement photos. Asks what you think about spring weddings. You're not opposed, but you notice something. She started comparing. Her friend's boyfriend just bought a house. Another friend's fiancé works in private equity. Someone else got proposed to in Italy, Greece, the Maldives. You're doing well, but she's watching who's doing better at this level. You're not just dating her. You're competing with every other relationship in her social circle. Every dinner is content. Every trip is a post. Every gift is measured not by thoughtfulness, but by market value. You buy her a Cartier bracelet for Christmas. She loves it. But 2 weeks later, she shows you a photo of her friend's Van Cleef necklace. Isn't this gorgeous? You nod. You know what she's really saying. Level 5. Transactional Intimacy. You're pulling $400K a year. The relationship has changed shape. You don't live together. You coexist in a 2-bedroom penthouse with floor-to-ceiling windows and a view of the skyline. She doesn't work anymore. Not because you asked her to quit, but because her job in marketing didn't make sense when you're paying for everything anyway. She manages the calendar now. Books the trips. Coordinates with your assistant, picks restaurants, selects your clothes for events. You're dating, but it feels more like a partnership, a transaction with affection. She's beautiful, polished, Always camera ready. She works out with a trainer you pay for. Gets her hair done every 3 weeks. Wears labels you can recognize from across a room. She's an asset. You don't say that out loud, but you think it at dinners with clients, at work events. When someone asks, who's she? And you can see the envy in their eyes. You propose in Positano. She says yes before you finish the question. The ring cost $48,000. She posts it within the hour. You get 4,000 likes. You don't feel happy. You feel confirmed. Level 6. The performance of power. You're worth $2.3 million. Liquid, not tied up. Real money. The wedding costs $310,000. Vineyard venue, string quartet, Michelin-starred caterer. She plans everything. You write the checks. Her friends cry during the vows. Yours drink too much and talk about markets. You honeymoon in Bora Bora, overwater bungalow, private chef, photos that look like they belong in a magazine. She quits Instagram 2 months later. Not because she wants to, because you ask her to. It's not a good look anymore, you say. She understands. You're moving in different circles now. People with real wealth don't perform it publicly. They signal it privately. Memberships, invitations, access. She joins a Pilates studio that costs $600 a month. Starts having lunch with the wives of men you're trying to do deals with. She's good at it, charming, educated enough to talk about art, polished enough to make you look stable. You're not in love anymore. Neither is she, but you're effective together. At this level, dating marriage becomes strategy. She raises your status. You fund her relevance. It's clean, efficient. You have sex twice a month. It's scheduled. You don't talk about it. Level 7. Isolation disguised as achievement. You're worth $11 million. You live in a house with 6 bedrooms and a wine cellar you never use. She spends most of her time in the East Wing. You spend yours in the office. You see each other at dinner parties you host for people you don't like. She's perfect at them. Gracious, warm, laughs at the right moments. Afterwards, she goes upstairs. You pour a scotch and sit in the dark. You don't date anymore. You haven't in years. What you have is a structure. She manages the home, the staff, the appearances. You manage the money, the reputation, the portfolio. There's no affection. There's no resentment either. Just function. You think about leaving sometimes, late at night, when the house is quiet and you're alone in a room worth more than your childhood home. But leaving would mean splitting assets, explaining things, renegotiating your image. It's easier to stay. She's thinking the same thing. You both know it. You attend a charity gala. She wears a gown that costs $17,000. You wear a tuxedo. You smile for photos. Hold her hand. Someone says you two look perfect together. You thank them. You're perfect, just not happy. Level 8. The architect of everything and nothing. You're worth $57 million. You don't see her much anymore. She lives in the Hamptons house most of the year. You're in the city, sometimes Hong Kong, sometimes London. You communicate through assistants and accountants. You're still married, on paper, in photos from 5 years ago that still circulate in the right circles. You date, occasionally, quietly, women in their late 20s who know the arrangement. Dinner at private clubs, weekends in Aspen. They don't ask for more. You don't offer it. They're beautiful, interesting enough, but you don't feel anything. You stopped feeling somewhere around level 5. At this level, relationships aren't about connection. They're about optics, discretion, control. You fund her lifestyle. She protects your image. The lawyers have it all worked out. You attend a wedding. Someone's daughter, old money family. The groom is 29, eager, shaking hands, laughing too loud. He's dating up. You can tell. She's beautiful, polished, posts everything. You watch him look at her like she's the prize. You remember that feeling? You don't tell him it fades. You don't tell him that in 15 years, he'll be sitting alone in a room that costs $40,000 a month, wondering when he stopped recognizing himself. He wouldn't believe you anyway. You leave early, drive back to the penthouse, pour a drink, sit by the window. Somewhere across the city, a kid is standing outside a coffee shop, checking his bank account, hoping he has enough to impress someone. He thinks money will solve it. He thinks wealth means freedom. He's wrong, but he'll find out.